If you know someone with anxiety, or you think that you have it, definitely watch this whole video because it'll be very helpful. Today I came to talk about what anxiety is. I want you guys to know what it is. You know, there's so many people that are suffering from mental health at the moment, some of it being from coronavirus and some of it being from just everyday life. Some people, this is every day for them, and some people, the coronavirus gave them anxiety. So I just wanted to discuss that today, and I wanted to really get the information out there for people who don't know, or for people who have been suffering from this and no one was there to explain it to them, no one was there to explain it to me. So I want to be a resource to you guys. So with that being said, let's get straight into the video. I also want to start this video off with providing the suicide prevention hotline number to anyone who just feels that their mental health is taking over them. What I love about the suicide prevention hotline is that you could call them 24/7, 365 days a year. They will answer for you. They're really just a resource in order to save lives for anyone who is suffering from a mental illness. So that number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, it's 1-800-273-8255. I'm also going to be providing the number for the SAMHSA, which stands for Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services. Their number is 1-800-662 help. You can call them 365 days a year, 24/7, and basically they're just a hotline to get information out for people who are not educated about mental health. And they're also a treatment referral service, so definitely check them out if you haven't heard of them. It was my first time hearing of them, but I wanted to provide information for others who hadn't, because honestly I myself didn't know. So all right, let's get into the video, you guys. So mental health, it's kind of hard to smile on YouTube and talk about this. It's a very touchy subject. I think hardest thing is not knowing what it is, so providing that for you today. So the definition of anxiety by Merriam-Webster's is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. So that was the Merriam-Webster's definition of anxiety. Anxiety to me would be something that is, I don't know, they said it. It gives you unease. It's not the same kind of unease that you get when you're around someone that makes you uncomfortable. It's more of an uneasiness that you really cannot explain, and it causes you to kind of go into a sort of panic. So the psychiatric definition is a nervous disorder characterized by a state of excessive uneasiness and apprehension, typically with compulsive behavior or panic attacks. So a lot of the symptoms of anxiety are hyperventilation, nervousness, rapid breathing. A lot of people that have anxiety have a really hard time focusing. So a lot of people who have ADD or ADHD also have anxiety. A lot of people really don't know that anxiety is a huge umbrella for a lot of the other mental disorders. I actually figured this out when I went to counseling back when I was in college. My counselor I was asking her questions about how things worked, because I knew a lot about mental health, I knew a lot about disorders, but I really was trying to understand myself, and I really was trying to understand anxiety within other disorders like bipolar and depression. So she explained to me that anxiety is the big umbrella. Anxiety is usually the main disorder a lot of people have, and they don't realize that they have it. And then depression falls under that, bipolar depression, manic depressive disorder, a lot of other disorders are a part of that anxiety disorder. So it does help to be aware, or to know that you are suffering from these symptoms, or that you do have anxiety. It's really helpful to know that, I personally believe. So moving on to the next. So one thing I think that people with extreme anxiety suffer from are panic attacks. And a lot of, I can't say everyone, but I can say that everyone that I've encountered, including myself, has suffered from at least one panic attack if they've had anxiety before. So usually when you start to have a panic attack, your body starts to uncontrollably shake. A lot of times it feels like you really can't breathe. And you really just, I want to say you feel disoriented. Disoriented is a good word. Like, usually panic attacks cause you to be disoriented, especially if you're in a particular environment when you do have that panic attack. So it's really helpful to have support system, which brings me to my next point, which is going into just coping strategies. I really want to demonstrate, I want to do a whole video on coping strategies, actually, because to me, I think anxiety and depression, I think sometimes anxiety and depression's coping strategies can be very similar. And so I wanted to do a whole video on coping strategies for mental health overall. One of the biggest things I want to say in this particular video is definitely have support around you. It'll be the biggest help, the biggest difference. I know a lot of people don't have family that they can go to, but if you have friends, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or if you have anyone that you feel like you can talk to, definitely I think that is the biggest help. But when I finish editing this video, I will link the video to the coping strategies video, and you guys can watch that, and that'll be a little bit more helpful than just this one thing, because there are so many different ways to cope with anxiety and also other mental disorders as well. The thing that I wanted to touch on was personal symptoms for me. I know that when I'm feeling anxious, or when I feel like I'm having an anxiety attack come on, I usually start to feel like I can't breathe. I usually feel like there's a heaviness on my chest, almost as if there's like a rock sitting on top of it. I know that I usually notice that my brain feels cluttered. So one thing for me, I know when I'm feeling really anxious, is just like I get disoriented in my mind, and it just feels like I can't think. It's a moment for me to get my mom, or call my boyfriend, or text my dad and be like, hey, I just wanted to talk. Talking for me really helps. And I'll also put that in my coping strategies video. But one thing about having support is that you get to talk these things out. And a lot of times you feel less anxious when you start talking. A lot of people I have run into or have met who are anxious people, when you get to know them, are talkers, and it usually helps them feel better. It's not everyone. I've met, personally, to me, a spectrum of individuals that have anxiety disorder. Some of them are very quiet people. Some of them are talkative people, and some of them are in the middle. You really just don't ever know. You can't ever judge a book by its cover. It's crazy, because I remember what it was like, especially when I was in high school, what that feeling of anxiety felt like, and I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know how to cope with it, and I didn't know how to deal with it. No one ever told me. And so I'm here to tell you, if you don't have anyone to tell you. And it's so crazy. This is just a segue. In Black families, mental health, I don't think is talked about enough or introduced enough to where people are able to cope, or they know what to do. I didn't know that my own mom actually has anxiety. I didn't learn that until I was in college. So, okay, I'm back. So my apologies to you guys. Somebody in my family needed me, so I'm gonna have to re-record this part of the video. But I think the part that I was on was, I was saying how a long time I didn't even know my own mother has anxiety. I didn't learn that until I was in college. I was like 21 years old when I found out. So now it's like, well, geez, you know, you could have told me. So I don't know if for me this is hereditary or this is just something that I developed over time, but now that I know that she also has, it's possibly hereditary. So now that I know that she has it, I know that it's possibly hereditary. But if we would have talked about this a long time ago, it could have saved, you know, me so much time. But we're here now. So this is why we need to talk and we need to communicate through families just about mental health, because it really could help and it could really be beneficial. And now I have my mom who I can go to when I feel that anxiousness. She knows what triggers are, and I can talk to her about those things. So very helpful, because there are days where I help her when she needs me and she helps me. So it's very beneficial, I think, to talk to family about mental health. That's probably your first source of how to get help, is from family. You know, maybe you could save the time going to a doctor. Sorry, I'm not good at ending videos, but definitely go to my coping strategies video. I'm gonna link it to this video. And definitely be open, talk. Do not be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid of what people are gonna think of you, because there are millions of people in the world that do not believe that anxiety is real. They don't understand how many people in the world have anxiety. According to 2019 statistics, 1 in every 5 adults suffers from anxiety. So that's about 40 million people. Yes. So this is a real thing. This is really something that people deal with and suffer from every day. If somebody says they have it, they're more than likely not making it up. So anyway, it's been real. It's been awesome. I loved making this video for you guys. I actually thought I was going to be more nervous about it, but I had more of my own information than I did having to look at the notes that I had. So stay informed, stay safe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.